No, sir. Good morning, everybody. This is Suraj Singh speaking from Bharat, India, on this day, April 20, 2021, Tuesday. Routine talk in addition to general is quality, lead one, and title being Civil Field Engineering, which includes designs and construction, which includes preparatory method statements, which includes contracts based works, which includes quality system and coordination, etc. This in COVID-19 has been steep. I'm not going to talk of that, but just briefly, it's happening now unexpectedly. It's rising a lot. Well, let's go to our own quality issue. I'm not getting any signals. Unfortunately, it stopped. Again comes. Okay. Talking quality, I think it's my opportunity through this medium of Facebook. I think that I can do something for whole society, particularly in our country, Bharat, India, as well as in other parts of world. Being civil engineer by education and experienced field engineer, professional engineer, chartered engineer, and whatever you may say, titles don't make anything very much special of performance of someone. I am confident that I can be useful to society, to those people who have been in search or who never thought of both. Either been searching or they may be interested to search to find out for better information that they lack in. Information is very important in life. Information is available, only requirement is one has to strive to pick it, to find it, to search it. If you are able to do that, you will get more knowledge. And information is knowledge. If you find some information which you can interpret yourself, one can construct it yourself for use, that's best possible opportunity. Just like we say, IT is information technology. It gives us information, gross information and detailed information. But that information you should be hungry for. Information that can be applied directly without conducting any analysis. This is trend all over the world. Particularly current generation, they want cooked food and they don't want to work on its cooking. That's only difference. 95 to 98% intend to get something already done and they just want to use it. It's like ready-made clothes you take and wear. That's all. Don't worry about size, don't worry about how it is done. But that's not, I cannot recommend that part of life. Until you do something yourself, you cannot understand it. Whatever in life, at least scope of your life you must understand. We must understand, everybody must understand. Life is very small if you compare to size of universe and age of universe. Life of everybody is very small, and it's also true that we cannot learn everything in this period, in this life. Question is that understanding of life is of course important, and we should clearly depict ourselves where do we stand. If we can say, okay, we stand here We try to limit our work. We try to we try to confine ourselves into some defined scope of life, or we have to find ourselves what is our scope of life. The scope of life, intellectual can define itself, but those who just want to know scope also through someone else, I can't help them. Quality is such a world where you will find something indifferent. Achievement of quality is not easy, because achievement of quality means you have to achieve system, you have to achieve individuality, and you have to achieve product quality. And all this can be achieved only when designs is quality one. If designs are not quality one, all stage design I'm talking, all stages design, which are also included in construction, all stages design, all performances, all activities, all expressions in writing or otherwise, all time and cost issues, everything, every act of life relates to quality, cost and time, risks involvement and reliability, all based on safety requirement, serviceability requirement, durability issue, and all analysis and synthesis. Contemplation and application of those contemplations, which I can say real engineering, that engineering must be based on thinking capacity, thinking which is real world of quality, because it generates quality also, rather than just thinking quality can come through that. This is its own quality, its own systems, its own world. Everybody has a right to do so. I never say you do quality which others think. I never say that. You cannot even depend on that what others think I have to do. No, it's not necessary. You have to define your life yourself. Just like when we used to talk to some youth, or even now you talk, you ask what's your ambition. That youth may stick to making money. I think on an average basis, I want to make money, or I want to get a job which is very famous one, by which job one gets eminence. If that's part of life, that's quality you think, this means you are very much isolated in yourself. You are very much isolated in your own world, because just getting some position or just getting money, these do not amount to quality achievement. Quality can be defined in many ways. In engineering itself, in engineering, which is very much scientific world, which is based on logical talks, logical issues, logical procedures, logical attainment, one feels something when you know what happens when we join some institution for education purpose. We feel highly profiled when we get pass of degrees. I got this degree, or I got that degree, or I got this masterate or doctorate. We feel highly elevated without even knowing what we got it. These are all references, all confined. These degrees can, of course, give us something to realize, to understand, but these do not tell what you can do in your life until you get opportunity. Engineering is that world. Engineering, I have seen such engineers who can think a lot without having very highly educated degrees, high profile degrees. I have seen such engineers also who have very high profile degrees, but they can't think. They can't think. I mean, think to that level, which is expected of such a high profile engineer. I'm not speaking it because of I don't like or I don't have those degrees. I respect all those degrees and I also wanted to have those degrees, but due to some reasons, circumstances, personal circumstances, I could not strive for those. I even did not think of passing degrees in my life. It's also, I was challenged by someone because my economical circumstances, family circumstances did not support me to go for some good education like degree in engineering or so-called Institution of Engineers India Section A and Section B examination, which is equivalent to or equal to a pass in degree examination, which degree is granted by university. For me, it was a mountain sometime when I had passed diploma of civil engineering, 3 years diploma in 1974 from Kashmiri Gate Polytechnic, which is now Third Wave Polytechnic under Delhi Board of Technical Education. In 1974, I qualified that, and I didn't even know what I had passed. But I just say, oh, somebody used to call me, oh, you are civil engineer now. I was proud, oh, I got civil engineer, very nice. But I did not know what actually that meant was until I came to field. I joined something, I did something. I got a job of just 5 rupees per day on daily wages. Can you dream it now? Job of just 5 rupees a day. And I did that for 4 months. Till time when I was regularly appointed as government engineer, government junior engineer. So what I mean to say, sometimes we do not know. Now people know what is engineer, what is this, because they have been given signals. You will get this much position, you will get this much money. At that time I was even happy in rupees 5 a day. I thought, okay, 150 rupees, but in those days 5 rupees were not very small amount. It was good enough to just take 1 kilogram flour, 1 kilogram flour for your food. But when I joined field, I discovered that people were not very much dedicated. They used to study books, but my senior says they don't read specifications. If you read specifications, you shall stop work. And every engineer is successful only if engineer does not stop work. Somebody told me like that. Well, I was happy with that. Yes, work should move. Job of engineer is to let work move. But work move means what? Should you compromise at every step? Or should you be led by a contractor whose ambition is, whose target is just to make some profit? Or you allow corruption on that? There were some points which were in mind, and my father never told me to do dishonesty. He said he had a view of mine, and he always taught me, do not be dishonest, do not believe in bribe if you get a job, do honest work, sincere work. My father was honest, so that impressed me, and he wanted me to see a person, because my father was not very much educated that time. He told me I want to make building plans, or nakshas to call, and make buildings. He had ambition that my son should be a civil engineer indirectly, because he had seen civil engineer was very much warmly welcomed after when one building was being constructed opposite our shop. So my father had a desire that my son should be an engineer. More than that, means he thought engineers are very highly profiled people. They are intelligent, they are this and that. So he just told me at the time when I was in 8th standard, I was only 8 years syllabus. I told you it's nothing. For him, 8 years was nothing, because 3 years were involved in higher secondary education and 5 years degree course. 8 years. For him, 8 years was nothing. So, well, okay, fine, we'll see. Who knew that how much education it was, what education it was, and how much study I had to do just even to pass school education and then degree education of engineering. Well, this is all my dream, and talking is easy. Everybody can talk and everybody can accept that responsibility without even knowing what responsibility or what job description is. It happens, people want to get chairs, they want to access to some office. They know nothing. They know nothing. This happens. Everybody is interested in such positions and they don't even realize what job description is all about. And later on they suffer. They suffer in the sense they want to maintain their positions without even doing their responsibility disposed, and that happens. It should not happen. This stage has brought actually deterioration of quality system around our country, and of course to some extent in many other countries. People want to get positions, jobs and everything. They want to get packages. They want to get status in society. A status, I don't understand what's a status actually. What is quality status? I can't understand. If you have a lot of money, you have a lot of property, you have a lot of many cars and bungalows, are you having status or you are serving God? That is status. I can't understand till now. Somebody says, oh, he's a billionaire, he's a trillionaire, he's one of 10 in whole world, top 10 in world, and this is a person's status. I don't know what does this status mean. What's quality of status? Can you describe someone? What is quality of status? If you are rich, you think you are a status person? Yes, you are rich, you can employ people, you can open industry, you can do. But that is all relevant because you are not primary owner of that. Those people who are working there, those working class people, honest people, those employees, staff working there, they produce for you. You just invest money and maybe this money is not yours. You borrowed it from bank. So this is public money and you use public money for your own growth and you say you are a quality person. It applies to everybody all over the world. In our country people say, oh, see such guys, top 10 in Forbes and this and that. What achievement that guy is, I don't understand. Whoever one be. Yes, if one is based on growth, one has spent life to contribute to this society, that I accept. But if you say no, because of money I am making money, I am using bank money for my growth, then you are using public money for growth. It's not your quality, it's you are stealing. You are just deceiving yourself and deceiving. From where did you get money? Did you get money by excavation and earning daily wages? Or you got money because of your parents were rich? What was the issue? Question arises. So quality applies there as well. Yes, you are a very rich man, very rich person. But what about your quality of earning? How do you spend this? Questions arise. What's your design for people? Are you only objective to make more money, to thrive this money, or you have different kind of objective? You want to serve society. God has given you opportunity, or you just want to act as a storekeeper of wealth. What do you want to do? You see, everybody who stores money, who can say keeps money in bank and wealth, and that person can think, I am honor of all this. That person should also remember that one day that person has to live. There is a fixed date to live, but there is no fixed date for centuries to live. You can't live for 5,000 years. This means whatever period you live in this world, you act as, you can say, trustee or storekeeper of that wealth, because you are not allowed to take that wealth with you. You are not even allowed to take your body with you. So what does it mean? Where do you stand? Then why you want to have so much greed in life that you want to rob everyone? I should be richest one. What's about your mental state? Is that good enough to create something? Can your mind create something? Or just want to make money and use people's skills for your own development of business? What do you want? Where your fundamentalism? Why means when we study engineering, we see fundamentals, preliminaries, or can say first principles. We use all first principles for purpose of designing, theory, analysis and everything. I still remember when I was in those days of education, we could not understand meaning of every term. What is fundamental principle, what is first principle, what is elementary education, elementary engineering, elementary electrical, thermodynamics. All this we used to study very well and we passed all. I used to study, I think, more than 40 subjects. And we knew theoretical everything, but practical application came into being only when we joined field. And we learnt what I think multiple times that we could learn in our schooling and our university or engineering education. Very little we learned when we got educated. Of course, theory we learned. Theory of structure, analysis of structures, applied mechanics, strength of materials, and many more subjects which were useful in our work. But work itself was education. Maybe we did not issue any degree for those who produce some project, deliver some project. We should give a degree to that person who worked for 2 years, say, on a building or whatever project and did everything for that project. I think that's much more than a master's degree or a doctor's degree, because you take responsibility. When you share responsibility, absolutely, you are a responsible person. In degrees, you don't share any responsibility. Only guide is there, but he is no guide even. You are short on work. You have to do work. You have to understand work, documents, everything, and produce this. And if there's some error, you are subject to action. That's where issue arises. Means you have to deal with quality. You have to deal with designs. If not basic designs, the working designs, or you deal with design coordination, you have to deal with construction, you have to deal with activities, you have to deal with method statements, you have to deal with time, cost, and quality, and you have to deal with risks, you have to solve risks, you have to do reliability, you have to depend on reliability, you must achieve those reliability factors like safety, serviceability, and durability, and whatever knowledge areas are available, you have to do analysis, conduct analysis, and conduct synthesis, and you have to think and think and think and think. Exponentially you have to think. Contemplation you have to create. And then it goes to final application or group of applications, which is termed engineering. So engineering is not simply a subject that we think so. A study of engineering is not enough. A study of engineering on work front is important. Maybe people disagree with that. Doesn't matter. You can disagree. Everybody is right to disagree. But right to disagree on facts is not permissible. If facts speak something, if facts say something, you are bound to accept that. Even if you don't accept that, facts would make you force you to accept that. You have to. So that's what engineering is about. Engineering means world. Engineering means different. Say different world. Means development. It means evolution of development. There was a time when there was nothing. When universe was created, who knows what was there? I wasn't available. I don't even know how many years back it started to run. But we see facts that this is available. So we say, yes, it was delivered or it was constructed. We don't know. It was delivered prefabricated planets or these are constructed in situ. We can't say, we don't know, but system is working. This fact can't be denied. If somebody denies this fact, that can be called a lunatic person. Planetary system is working, solar system is working, universes are working, whatever system, air envelope, gaseous envelope, sunlight, sun rays, or you can say earth, lithosphere, seas, oceans, skies, all have been working and successfully working. I think this can be called perfect engineering. Perfect engineering. Because I don't even see whatever we produce as engineers work that perfectly. We are not sure of anything. We are neither sure of wind pressure. We are not 100% sure of seismic actions, earth forces. We are not sure of what shall happen when. We all leave it to assumptions and presumptions. We do that because we have no command, no dictate on nature. We can't dictate nature, and we are slaves to nature, and we should be, because nature's owner we are not. I'm not owner of this nature. I am a user of this nature. Whatever part we are located on this earth, earth is my home till I live on earth. So it's not my ownership. Can't be. It's free of ticket. This doesn't charge any ticket also. No agency of nature helps me, that helps me charges any fees, any service. No, I don't pay anything to sun or to air or to rain or to sky or to soil. I don't pay anything, but I'm getting services of all these agencies. Should we realize this fact? How far can we go like this? If we use some service, we have to pay. But here, I've been using this body, my own body. I'm not paying anything to God. I'm using every service God has provided. I'm not going to pay anything to God. But if for small service by human being that provides, this provided to me, I have to pay for electric bill, for water bill, for sewage, for house tax, for this tax and that tax. We pay everything to everyone. Surprising, no problem, we pay. But do we pay to God? I'm traveling on earth. Earth is my train, you may say. It's my flight. How long I travel, I don't know. But that flight, which is a practical one, we know where we go. But here we will go back to home. That home, I don't know which one is there. Where's that address? But by that, we have to change our thinking habit then. If we have to respect that person, that power who built all us, it's God. You have to. I don't know shape, I don't know face, I don't know plan, I don't know whatever elevation of that, but that power exists. Because we are using that power's structure. This means it was constructed sometime. How it was constructed, I can't imagine even. Because there is no way to understand. And I also understand a circle, a curve is very important. Our planets can see spherical one. Our body is also curved one. If you just see from top to bottom, head to toe, you just take the sections, you'll find section on head, it's circular or curved one or elliptical one. If you take section of a nose, you will find it's curved. You take the head or somewhere in throat or neck, you will find circular or curved one. Same you take section of arms, you will find curved one, circular one, and stomach and chest and legs and where you want to say, your genital, etc. All you want to say. There's no one is rectangular, no one is triangular, but these all are curved one, endless one. When I say circular, elliptical, this means there is no end, there is no start. We know endless. We have to understand such type of analysis in life is very simple. Means by observation we can say we know it by observation. And what is science? Science is logical observation, scientific based observation based on our own formula. And we have to read that, observe that, and that's if we get some result out of that, some conclusion that this is sequence of this system is working. Just like somebody gave, scientists discovered that Earth has 24 hours a day because it takes one round around. It takes one round, on its own axis, on perpetual axis around, and 24 hours are constructed or decided. Same as 7 days were decided and 365 days were decided for a year. So these are observation-based studies. These tell us how nature is working, and that's analytical study, and then we use it and call synthesis study. So we have to understand it's of course quality of nature, quality of life. No one can change quality of nature, but everybody can spoil quality of nature. That's also important. Just like we spoil strength of air, purity of air, we spoil all beaches and water bodies, we spoil lands, we spoil everything using our own systems which we produce or impose on others. So we have to be careful. We have no right to spoil quality of nature, but we have done it, and that's what we are suffering also. We've been suffering from extreme temperatures. Extreme temperature, I'm not saying extreme hot alone, cold also. So that's where we can say. So quality doesn't apply only construction, it applies everywhere. Construction, very small part of the universe, is not very big parts. I think very tiny part. If you see size of universe, what is sun size of our construction is nothing. Even if you manufacture your vehicles, your trains, or how many trains these vehicles are using, and what actually it is, if you see availability of strength of nature, power of nature, material of nature. So quality doesn't mean only this. Quality has the widest scope in the universe, and we have to think on that. And thinking is where I say, thinking is best work. Think positive, think negative, think whatever way. In both ways, you will find some targets, some results. And thinking itself is use of mind. If you want to use of mind, if you want to use, my mind should be active, it should be brilliant, it should be fertile. Then you have to think. Even don't worry about yours going to sleep. You can think also there. And when you think a lot, either you can't sleep or you'll sleep very fast or early. And that's where see quality of thinking. I always used to something myself, even I question myself why I'm not thinking about this. I have a right to question my own soul. Why I missed this? Why did I miss this? What was the reason? Why I did not remember it properly? Or why did I not write somewhere for reference? That point's very, very important. I'm not simply saying that listen to me what I say. I never say that. Listen to yourself. Listen to your soul. Listen to your mind, what your mind says. And listen to what your future is saying. Is it riskful future or it is risk-free future? I think risk must be there. If there is no risk, there is no solution. There is no thinking. Risk must exist, and until we realize that risk, we understand solution of that risk. Once we get solution of that risk, I think we feel very much happy and pleased. I got it, I solved it. But we don't know who help you to solve it. That point is also very important. Sometimes that power helps everyone who thinks about this. That power of nature, power of universe helps us solve, because we are medium of nature, medium of universe. Universe wants to use every person for improving whatever is existing in universe, particularly on lithosphere. Because whole earth is not in our control, at least at level where we stay, our improvement of life is based on what we think and what we do. So quality is very important factor. Risks are very important factor. Those who say, oh, I don't want to face risk, that person cannot move ahead. Risk cover must be there, but not risk erosion. Cannot say that. Risk cover is very important. But risk erosion, no, you cannot say there should be no risk. If there is no risk, what's your views? What shall you do in your life? Risk must be there. It must be visionary, and we understand risk. If we understand risk very well, we can find solutions also. And that is what engineering teaches us. Engineering is not a pure study, it's different kind of study, where science works, engineering works, skill works, common sense works. I think there's no property of life, it's just work. Activism works, dynamism works, passivism works, thinking works, and also reliability works. Means we always question ourselves, and we are taught to question everything. If you don't understand, question. You must get logic of whatever work is there, activity is there. You must understand why this logic applies, what is the reason behind that. And once you think that way, you become self-thinker, self-creator, self-mover, and self-goal setter. That's what's more important. So cannot say that now. Well, I will not go much. I will simply say I used all these talks for very technical statements, and these statements which equip every one of us, which equips every one of us into a defined work, defined activity, that activity without which we cannot do anything. That act or activity helps everybody. If we respect our work, our thoughts, our actions, everybody has thinking power. Everybody. Somebody has higher than normal and somebody has below normal. This thinking power makes us. This thinking power builds everybody. And if you cannot use thinking power, if you are lacking, that is a different question and different answer for that. But when you have power, you think yourself, to what extent did you use that power? People don't use that power. They just want answers. They don't want to research. They don't want to think. If they constructively think, you will get construction. When you think destructively, you will get destruction. It's your own approach. You can't blame someone else for this. When we say method statements, it's not my generated statement. It's something that must happen. Method statements is a formula, you can say. You can say it's the method itself. Method statements are method in itself. These are not some, forced statements. These are statements that direct yourself. One activity may have many further activities in them. One activity may have many technologies with that, or single technology with that. Everybody knows that work has to be done this way or that way. But which way? Which way? If there are 4 persons, they will say 4 ways. If there are 2 persons, they will say 2 ways. If there is 1 person, he will say my way. Now 2 way, 4 ways, my ways, which one is best? How to know that? That's the point we are discussing here. How to realize what should be done. How to give clearness to do it. That's the point where engineering study is done. Use of intellect, use of genius, use of time, measurement of time, schedule out, quantify, qualify, patience, experimentation, trial and error. All these factors and many more after this do apply. Activity cannot be done originally in one day. We have to experience every issue. Experience, we have to take tension also in some case. People call tension, but they call not tension but headache. You have to accept that detrimental stage that for that time being. It's not detrimental, but for that time it happens. We have to accept that. To be very frank, engineering is very easy. Engineering is very easy because this applies to life. If it doesn't apply to life, it can't be called engineering. Engineering is a domain, I think, biggest one in whole earth. There's no other domain that can combine itself with engineering. Whatever subjects we study in whatever discipline, maybe at time of education we are not in capacity to read all, but intermittently tests can be conducted, questions can be raised, and then entry is fed in your documents permanently. This documentation is also guaranteed that work has been done according to specifications, according to quality, according to requirement. It's also an assurance that we have to do that, we have done that. That point I can say engineering is all about. Engineering is not a showpiece, it's not a showroom. It's a product that works. Engineer a person who can use natural resources for best attainment of objective. That's what engineering about. Engineering is not what thing is. Engineering means sacrifice. Particularly civil engineering is sacrifice. Sacrifice both arms, sacrifice fingers, sacrifice bodies, stomach, means wherever you can. There have been cases, even bad acts apply there, in death also. Therefore, it's very important that We have to realize method statements in engineering, and that's very important point. I was last time I was on chapter of this file, and we had moved a lot on this immensely, and we can say that we should do everything that's required for construction, quality construction. We have to. If we do not do, I think we make a mistake by abusing our strength, our power, our knowledge for sake of nothing. We have gone through many statements on this file and shall refer to many more files. Many more basic statements we have gone through, which are of course very convenient method to understand something. That convenience is also good. Let me see where I am reaching. And then it was maintenance warehouse, not this one. If we go to other one, that is seawater surge basin closing structural gap on roof, this we have done. Then we had done maintenance warehouse overcoating to epoxy painted surface with master top. Okay, let us see this. Maybe this is some good one. And it's the corridors walkways. Now references are same. Objective is to outline procedures that shall be adopted to carry out floor surface top coat on epoxy painted surface of corridors and walkways. So floor surface top coat on epoxy painted surfaces of corridors and walkways. And this is master top material. Leave it now. Now safety is almost same. That measures suggested by manufacturer's data sheet shall be strictly adhered to, and visit of competent inspector all time as usual. Snags which should be cleared, and both EPC and other one HSC etc. So the contact HSC department, participate in presentation of start card, and that is safety task analysis and risk review technique, we call it START, safety task analysis and risk reduction technique. We have storage of material. It is stored in shed out of direct sunlight. Now what is method? Surface preparation. Existing epoxy painted surface shall be watered. After surface is dried, vacuum cleaner to be used to clear all dust and dirt. Existing epoxy painted surface shall be watered. After surface is dry, vacuum cleaner be used to clear all dust and dirt. Masking tape shall be pasted on periphery to demonstrate. So masking tape shall be pasted on periphery of proposed area to receive yellow color paint coat. Now mixing. Mix ratio. Component A, component B 4:1 by weight. Component B shall be poured into component A and mixed manually until streak-free consistency is achieved. Mixed stuff shall be poured into a container and carried out. Mixed stuff shall be poured into a container and container in a test. Then we can say, okay, let's apply this product. Let's apply this product. Now let us, per information of manufacturer of this construction chemical, coverage is 0.08 to 0.12 kilogram per square meter. Material shall be applied to surface using rollers on area completed. We have to, material shall be applied to surface using rollers and area completed. Coated surface shall be left duly protected for 24 hours. Once read. So coated surface shall be left duly protected for 24 hours. Then that light coating of reinforcing bars, reinforcing concrete itself. After 24 hours, you can say lapse. After 24 hours, masking tape shall be removed and surface vacuum cleaned. Masking tape Then I'm going slow. Now masking tape shall again be applied to periphery coated area to receive black color coating. Black color coating shall then be applied to give smooth appearance. Surface shall then be well protected for 24 hours for drying, cutting, curing and not allowed to foot traffic. Civil contact inspection will be done. So what we need: vacuum cleaner, clean container roller and whatever other documents we have. So this is coverage is very limited, of course. Material will be applied to surface using rollers and area completed. Then it's very important to understand methods. Now another one is substructure, foundations you can say. Purpose of this statement is to define procedure that we adopted for construction of substructure one building to one building. Its name only, don't worry about that, it's building only. This procedure shall define all work activities included within substructure, and we have drawings, we have specification of excavation and backfill, and underground installation, we have specification of concrete construction, formwork and coatings, and of course specifications concrete building. We can say responsibility, reliability, safety. Now 64, that is admission building sketch number. If you want to see, it's no problem, you can see that, I'll show you. Now, what are important in this case? We have to do on that. We have to work on that. What's important in this case? That's the important point. Record drawings is called as-built drawing. We refer to ensure that no running surfaces exist below building and surrounding areas, so that no issue arises either to divert or to remove all such services not required in that area. Building shall be set out by land surveyor in accordance to comply with IFC drawing. Real world has to real world. What we say is, you have to set out this building by through surveyor, then this can be done only after making sure that no services exist. Administration building or building shall be set out by surveyor in accordance with drawings, IFC drawings issued for construction drawing. Posts for marking coordinates, post vertical member. Post for marking coordinates shall be fixed around directions, all directions for moving out guests. Now approval for setting out shall be obtained from engineer QC. Excavation for foundation shall be carried out as bulk to formation level, since working out excavation. This is excavation is beyond serviceable points. Approval for setting out shall be obtained from engineer. Excavation for foundation shall be carried out as bulk to formation level, since working out excavation for individual footing poses untidy site and inconvenient work. Generally, independent footings are available in drawings, and we have to take all excavation and Also, by this way, you can say remove bad sectors of excavation. Excavated material shall be removed from site immediately after excavation bucket pulls the earth material. Each each material should have minimum strength. And you can say excavated material shall be removed from site immediately after excavator bucket pulls earth material, which should be directly loaded to dumper truck. Dumper truck transports excavated material to site stockpile if that has been allowed for screening good backfill material. In case no such approval or stockpile arrangement is available, excavated earth material shall be transported for dumping truck for dumping to authorized location for dumping or disposal. After bulk excavation, reaches near formation level to foundations, area shall be hand excavated to relevant formation level. You can say wherever whose material is encountered, it shall be removed to be replenished by soil improvement or mass concrete depending on quantity of such material or direction indicated on designs. Geotechnical engineer or soil engineer, you can say, inspect resultant formation for suitability to confirm whether or not adequate formation is available to allow foundation. Then you can say safe bearing test may be conducted to ensure that adequate bearing capacity is available at formation level. This can be part of study, part of contract, and part of corroboration. Of course, safe bearing test may be conducted to ensure that adequate bearing capacity is available at formation level. Then you can say safe bearing test may be conducted to ensure that adequate bearing capacity is available to formation level. Compaction shall be conducted to prepare formation surfaces to lay blinding layer. Surveyor shall set outlines levels for blinding of foundation pads. Timber forms shall be positioned to lines set out for foundation side plus 300 around foundation for projections. And before that, and before doing blinding, if there is some treatment to be applied, that shall be applied with. Chemical treatment can be applied, or whatever is mentioned is given in specification, that requires to be implemented. Now, blinding concrete, work for blinding concrete shall be prepared with, and blinding concrete shall be placed in compliance to approved pouring method and water cured for 24 hours. Finished surface of blinding concrete shall be made work smooth in accordance with membrane application requirements. Blinding concrete shall be primed with polyprime SP ready for receiving protection membrane application. Protection membrane shall be applied according to manufacturer's data sheet and reference to project specifications. Membrane system shall be inspected and accepted by either vendor or site trained representative prior to allowing other further activities. Continuing on protection membrane. A protective concrete speed of specific mix. A protective concrete speed of specific mix design shall be laid on top of protection membrane if required for design, and curing for 24 hours shall be done. The setting out of suspected footings and step beams shall be affected by. Okay, hold on here. We'll see. We'll see, because I want everybody to at least understand this. 64 I think is administration building. I remember. I'll show you if I can. 64. I can find out it is. Discuss number 64. That is in my directory. What is here? Uh, 64. Admin building it is, so it's just let us show you it's possible. It's very simple building. Of course, it's administration building. It's important one for everybody. We are talking about simple building and also very simple engineering. This building having 2 floors or more. You can see these offices are shown, records room is shown, conference area is shown, and then stores and offices and stair and lifts all are shown. RCC building frame grid is shown, A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I, J, and one side 1, 2, 3, 4 like this. And column etc. All sides ventilated, central AC, chiller compound, water tank. Then entry from ground is there, all dimensions are there. That side like this is a mirror reflection on this side. So this is where we can see that. I think it's terrific. Of course, it's terrific. Being simple, it's good one. Being simple and good, it is. And we can say that we can say what we do. Can I do like that? I can't, I think. I can't. So let me take another copy of this and let me see if I can open this. How does it look? That's my point of view here. Can it come like this? No, it won't. You have seen this building, and we can see you can read as much as you can so that meanwhile I'll be back. I'm sorry. Let me go for 10 minutes, come back. So let us go again and do it. All right. So we continue with this, no problem here. It's important to continue like this. You must have seen this now. I watch for something different here. So we are talking of this. Somewhere I say so what is after bulk excavation reaches near formation level to foundations area shall be excavated to relevant formation level, and where loose material is encountered which shall be removed to be replenished by soil improvement or mass concrete depending on quantity of such materials or direction indicated on designs. Geotechnical engineer has to inspect or shall inspect resultant formation for suitability to confirm whether or not adequate formation is available to allow foundation. Safe bearing test may be conducted. Safe bearing test may be conducted to ensure that adequate bearing capacity is available at formation level. Compaction shall be conducted to prepare formation surface to lay blinding layer. Surveyor shall set line levels for blinding of foundation pads. Timber form shall be positioned to lines set out for foundation sides plus 300 mm around foundations for projections according to design. Blinding concrete shall be placed in compliance to approved method statement and cured for by water using or for whatever method for 24 hours at least. Finished surface of blinding concrete shall be made smooth in accordance with membrane application requirements. Blinding concrete shall be primed with polyprime SB. Blinding concrete shall be primed with polyprime. Whatever material you have for waterproofing, ready for receiving protection membrane. Protection membrane shall be applied according to manufacturer's data sheet or instructions with reference to project specifications. Of course, membrane system shall be inspected and accepted by either vendor or site trained representative prior to allowing the further activities continuing on protection. I repeat, membrane system shall be inspected and accepted by site trained representative prior to allowing other further activities continuing on protection membrane. A protective concrete screed of specific mix design. A protective concrete screed of specific mix design shall be laid on top of protective membrane. This protection screed shall be watered for curing for 24 hours. Setting out of respective footings and strip beams shall be given by surveyor, or you can say setting out shall be done or laid out by surveyor. Setting up for footings and strip beams both. Traditional formwork of plywood and timber shall be erected for pad foundation. It must be prepared in advance, because if you just prepare at that time, it will just take more time. So preparation activity of these sides of plywood, sides of foundations constituted or composed of plywood and timber scantlings should already be prepared and erected on markings. Timber braces shall be used for supporting foundation, sides, etc. And that's what we say. And we can say that it shall be done. It should be done accordingly. It shall be done like that. So we can say setting out of footings and shall be done, and traditional formwork shall be erected is already fabricated or prepared. We call preparation. Making, we can say, using cut size according to requirement, plywood and battens. And these plates, we call them particularly plates, are fixed on site on lines and markings, and then supported by timber braces or jacks, whatever we have, so that these don't open. Timber braces shall be used for supporting foundation, sides, shutters. Design calculation shall be provided for this system. Okay, if required, means you have to provide design calculations, means what's the depth of concrete, what pressure is imposed on those formwork plates and supports, and whether or not these plates are resistant to that force. That's most question. If resisting force is less than imposed force, system would fail, it will open. And if imposed force is less than resisting force, there may be no opening. And once you can say, it's very easy, it's not difficult actually. Sides of footings and beams, of course we have ready-made reinforcement, fabricated, or you may say cased one. Reinforcement fabricated case shall be prefabricated according to whatever is given on drawings, IFC drawings, that is issued for construction drawings. And these looking like cages actually shall be lifted into position within this formwork using a crane and placed within setting out foundations, of course with cover blocks or spacers around these steel reinforcing bars. Starter bars and struts to columns shall be placed within footing reinforcement in stub columns to allow superstructural columns overlap lengths. And these shall also be, these column bars, starter bars shall be placed on marked column within foundation itself, of course with due cover. And if required, non-critical cathodic protection. Non-critical cathodic protection shall be applied in case it is provided for such foundation. Non-critical cathodic protection shall be applied in case it is designed for such foundations, particularly when this structure lies in some plant processing area or processing plant area, where central control of protection of steel from corrosion is of course affected. Reinforcement shall be checked by an electrician. If there is cathodic protection, reinforcement shall be checked by an electrician for electrical continuity relating to cathodic protection requirement, which we already discussed at length. Means if it is cathodic protection, that is critical or non-critical, there must be continuity of steel bars, otherwise this protection may not perform to intended requirement. Preparatory formwork and reinforcement. Preparatory formwork means shutters and reinforcement works. Configuration shall be inspected and concrete placement permission obtained from engineer or civil contractor, inspector, quality control, whosoever is responsible for that. Means a joint approval is a must. Now column shutter bars shall be wrapped with polythene while footing concrete is placed to avoid splash contamination. No concrete or mortar splash or slurry splash should go to these bars. We don't want these bars, so must be protected not only during concrete but also post concrete and until these are shuttered for concreting. And even after shutter but not concreted, top portion along with shutter must be protected so that oxidation is avoided. Structural concrete shall be placed and compacted according to specifications requirement. Normally we do it. Then initial water curing of concrete shall be conducted. Initial water curing of concrete shall be conducted. Formwork for column kicker shall be erected according to column center lines provided by surveyor. It is optional. You may do it without that also, but it's procedural, if it is required, it's required. Surface preparation of foundations at kicker position shall be scabble, means you have to keep it ready for construction joint. Actually, if you provide kicker, it is scabble so that all retention section removed, and there's a good bonding between this kicker top and new concrete of column comes in, or you can say construction joint is well formed. Concrete shall be placed and vibrated to kicker. Curing shall be conducted or done in conformance to approved curing method statements. Whatever methods we adopt, by direct water application, by curing compound, whatever method you have to apply. Concrete protection to inner sides of beams and columns shall be applied, covering portions within grade slab area where preparations for laying concrete has to work. Backfilling shall start in days. So first you have to protect concrete surfaces, and also if this is not heavy duty or water membrane, then you have to protect horizontally using cement mortar or plaster type, and vertical by using some protective measures, for example flexel boards, etc. Backfilling starts in this portion in line to approved method statements of backfill with usual test samples collected from field density and other standard requirements. FDD means field dry density. So backfill shall start in this position, and of course graded fill with moisture content or with some water in this. And after completion of all backfill layers, setting out for underground services shall be carried out, and backfill cannot be done more than 150 mm compacted layer. This means you have to backfill 200 mm each layer and compact it to 150 mm in each individual layer. So it's a time consuming activity. You can say backfilling shall start in this portion in line to approved method statements with usual test samples collected for FDD and other standard requirements. After completion of all backfill layers, setting out for underground services shall be carried out. Who is this bloody fellow at this time? I don't know. What is this? Who's this? Who's this? I don't know. यार कंजक्ति लगी इनको यार, उठा दिया आगे। हाँ डिस्टर्ब कर दिया देखो यार। So concrete protection where nonsense यार. So concrete shall be placed and vibrate to kicker. Curing shall be conducted in conformance to approved curing method statements. Before that surface preparation of foundations, kicker position shall be scaffolded. Concrete shall be placed and vibrated to kicker. Curing shall be conducted in conformance to approved curing method statements. Concrete protection to inner side of beams and columns shall be applied, covering portions within grade slab areas where preparations for laying concrete has to work. Backfilling shall start in this portion in line to approved method statements with usual test samples collected for FDD and other standard requirements. After completion of all backfill layers, setting out for underground services shall be carried out. Underground services all types shall be laid and tested as first fix. Underground services all types shall be laid and tested as first fix. After all such services are completed, backfill to portion above all pipes shall be carried out in line to approved method statements. Grade slab works shall be carried out after all such services works are completed. Scaffolding shall be provided to fix working platforms around columns. Columns steel reinforcement shall be installed according to IFC drawings. A proprietary column formwork system shall be erected. What it says, let us see. Column steel reinforcement shall be installed according to IFC drawings. A proprietary column formwork system shall be erected. A proprietary column formwork system shall be erected to vendors or manufacturers' formwork drawings or your own. It's not necessary that we have to take drawings, we have to take information drawings from manufacturer's vendor. No need. These are columns, we can design our own system. If it's normal column, say 4 meters height, we can use normal 18 mm ply and normal battens or jacks and prepare our own system without any problem. It's very ordinary. But as a procedure, part of procedure, proprietary column formwork can also be taken. No bar. Adequate bracing of column forms shall be provided. Adequate bracings of columns forms shall be provided. All formwork calculations shall be provided upon formwork drawing. That's very important. That's very important part of engineering. That you have to provide calculations, means resisting force by formwork all sides and imposed force from concrete force when concrete is filled and laid, and there will be certain gimps, certain procedure in that which is not given in books. Means it takes time to collect column layers, means 400 layers, and there are 4 meters high, 10 layers, possibly of 9 layers, and each 3 layer may take 1 hour, so there will be 3 hours. If you do a group of columns, it takes 2-3 hours for one column to pour, and 2-3 hours, maybe 1/3, 1/4 or half column starts setting in, and pressure is reduced on all sides. So that point is required to be considered while doing formwork economically. You cannot take full height or form it 100% pressure on sides. So that point we'll discuss elsewhere. That method, it's of course very easy if you analyze yourself, means the understanding practicality, understanding site work, we can ourselves calculate pressure on this, and that pressure is registered by plates, that's thickness of plywood consideration and battens, and then of course if you allow 16 mm or 12 mm bolts within sleeves or shikanjas or clamps, whatever you can say, and then jacking and propping, all that, there must be some resistance generated to, there may be some resisting force generated to equate or be greater than force of horizontal force of concrete, which is filled with one, and it can be done that way. So all formwork calculations shall be provided upon formwork drawing, or otherwise, and if it is standard one, repetition one, it no need at all. Means if it's a repetition of that you have done once, so it applies to all So all form calculations shall be present, particularly for big forms like shear walls or lift core, etc. This is particularly done because there's a complication in that, internal sides, external sides, and full height, and of course how to do pouring of that. But for ordinary columns, I don't think there's a major issue on that. Inspection of column forms and reinforcement configuration shall be conducted or done, and concrete placement permission obtained. And then we have to follow up. Orders of concrete. Inspection of column forms and reinforcement configuration be conducted, and concrete placement permission obtained from engineer contractor. We have to do that one, and then you can say column concrete shall be pumped in line after getting delivery from ready-made basing plant. We have to pour it. We have to devise how to pour it. We have to plan how to pour it. That's very important point. Means we cannot simply say, means we have to do follow procedures of pouring of concrete. So columns concrete shall be pumped in line to approved procedures which are done. I explained to you in layers way to do. No need of pouring one column. You can pull a group of column or drawer in whatever way, 8 column, 10 column, 6 column, which is the best you say 8 cubic meter to get in one truck supply. And maybe one column you have 1 cubic meter or 0.5 cubic meter, probably 1 cubic meter, let's say 1 column is having. So you must need 8 column that time, or 10 column, or 20 column, or whatever you got, and depending on how many forms you have. It depends on that. So concrete depends on number of columns, and when there are a number of columns, you have to pour them. You have to rotate your pumping arrangement because you can't pour more than 1 meter in one height. In 3 layers, you can say 400 mm thickness, 3 layers. You can put 1 layer and then you apply vibrator, the second layer apply vibrator, third layer apply vibrator, and then don't stop and go to other column and do that. So it takes about maybe more than 1 hour or half an hour to come back to same column. So repeat it 3 times or 4 times. So columns shall be pumped in line to approved procedures by following maximum 2 meters drop height, pouring in layers not exceeding 4 meters. Also, when you pour in group of columns in say 1 row, or you have to provide continuous working platform on that, and working stepped access to that. Both are important, step access and working platform, so people are safe. Everything will be kept in the air, and there's no hindrance to, there's no vibration on your sides of columns form, and vibration is allowed in a professional way. Why you have to train your people who operate vibrator, as well as all those carpenters and steel fixers. They must know how to work. Supervisor of concrete, foreman of concrete must be having adequate experience on this. And 2 meters drop is written 1.5 to 2 meter drop. More than this is not allowed, because if you allow more than that, it leads to segregation of aggregates, which is not permissible. And this will gently used, means of course pump speed is very fast, but no other way. Column shall be cured. In first layer there may be some problem, because first layer is all, but you have to be very careful with that. Your pump boom must reach to that point, say 1 meter height from kicker or from slab. You have to be very careful that there's enough space around your pipe boom that allows smooth passage of pipe boom to that 1 meter height, or total down if it can be. As less it is, lesser drop means better result of concrete, and you have to apply vibrator accordingly, because always you will find problem in bottom layers of concrete in columns. You will find cold storage, cold joints, you will find uneven concrete, you will find honeycombing, you will find surface roughness. So many defects happen there, or you will find voids in certain cases. That is only first layer or first 2 layers where problem can be witnessed. Experience says that. So be careful about pouring. Pouring is not easy in columns. Lower layers, upper layers are not that difficult. If it comes in first 1 to 2 layers, you'll find always a problem, because it's, first of all, it's not seen from height to 4 meters. It's difficult to see, but also vibration is not that. You must have adequate vibrator with long pipe, so that there's no problem in vibration of those first or 2 layers, or 3 layers. Column shall be cured according to specifications, approved curing method statements. Curing immediately starts with hot weather around setting itself, and from You can cover a top portion by polythene sheet or gunny bags later on then, but whatever it is, that volume of column concrete must be kept under required temperature so that heat loss is not immediate. And then you may remove shutters after 48 hours or 24 to 48 hours, and if you can't remove due to no availability of formwork to replace, so let it be there, just keep wet all time. And when you remove shutters, you have to be very careful that apply curing on that immediately. Inspect that surface. Column shall be cured according to specifications and approved method statements. And protection membrane, this is about protection membrane to foundations and step columns shall be applied by trained applicators according to manufacturer's data sheet. Alright, so this is step column concrete, whatever it is. Application shall be inspected and approved by vendors. Okay, leave it. Then protection board shall be placed over membrane. That's for foundation or step columns. Protection board is required over membrane because membrane can be damaged by stones or by backfill. So protection board is required for vertical sides of step columns and foundations, while for horizontal mortar can be placed in if it's not dense. If it's heavy duty membrane, no need of protection. Specific details of membrane applications must be given in method statement for protective membrane. Below ground concrete I'm talking, not talking above ground. So you can just go through that, how to apply protective membrane there, which is very important point to be included with an understanding. Then formwork to lean mix. Formwork to lean mix blocks. Formwork to lean mix blocks that sits on pad foundation. Formwork to lean mix blocks that sits on pad foundation. Ring beam and interconnecting beams shall be placed. Formwork to lean mix blocks that sits on pad foundation. For ring beam and interconnecting beam shall be placed. Pouring of concrete shall be done by pump when approved. Backfill around pad foundations shall be conducted using approved material in 150 mm compacted layer to required density value FDD. Backfill shall be placed up to level of underside of blinding concrete of ring beam. Blinding concrete to ring beam shall be placed in same manner as blinding for pad foundation. Membrane and membrane protection. Membrane and membrane protection screen shall be applied and approved as mentioned previously. Reinforcement shall be placed according to approved drawings. Reinforcement shall be placed according to approved drawings. Formwork to ring beam. Formwork to ring beam including box outs. Formwork to ring beam including box outs and inserts as applicable shall be erected using traditional plywood and timber forms. Formwork to ring beam including box outs and inserts as applicable shall be erected using traditional plywood and timber forms. Timber props shall be placed as required to brace formwork so that during pouring column sides do not open or bulge out. Ring beam configuration shall be inspected by engineer all and permission obtained for placement of concrete. Ring beam shall be cured according to specification requirement and curing method statement approved. Protective membrane to ring beam shall be applied and protected accordingly. Protection provided accordingly. Backfill against ring beams shall be conducted using approved material in 1 thickness. Backfill shall be placed up to underside of grade floor slab. This backfill layer shall be tested and approved by inspector. What do we need? Excavator, we need dump truck, we need compactors, concrete pump, concrete truck, mixers, hand tools, etc. And seawater basin concrete. We can see before going to seawater basin, let us see. Revise this long statement, that is what actually we could do in this administration building totally this rather than stand what actually we do. in this case is very important one. In this we studied first of all total building concrete. Means just if we see, actually, as we discussed before also, when you start some building, we have to know where this building is to situate or be sited. Within that area, below ground, what is the status of services? What status of services? That must be known. And if we can know this, fine, the status is important. And maybe there are services that are running in, live services, or there are some dead services. We have to know that before we start excavation of that area. It's common. If we know everything is not there, everything else is fine, but how to know whether there is something or nothing? Either we break everything manually and see, that's also dangerous. But if we have some information from official bodies, we can collect this information from them. They must have some records. If really they are public bodies or other bodies and they are serious, if they are not serious, there can be no question on them if they are not serious. Point is, being serious is very, very important. If you are not serious, you can't do anything in life. And engineering means seriousness. Engineering construction means seriousness. Seriousness defines engineering. So what it says, record drawings shall be referred to ensure that no running services exist below buildings and surrounding areas, proposed building and surrounding areas, so that no issue arises either to divert or to remove all such services. Now this building we are talking of shall be set out by land surveyor in accordance with design given on drawings. IFC drawings issued for construction drawings. Now administration building we call it, so we have to understand this, what drawings state. A post for marking coordinates. Post for marking coordinates. Posts for marking coordinates shall be fixed around all directions for working grid. What I'm talking is layout, setting out a plot around which we have to fix our coordinates, our axis, original coordinates or relative coordinates. We have to fix not only coordinates, that is whatever coordinates means on XY axis, not only that, but also we have to see also levels, both level benchmark and coordinates lines for reference. Then we have to mark in either direction, this A, B, C, D or 1, 2, 3, 4, whatever we symbolize. That grids means those grid coordinates, that system must exist on site from working area of foundation at least 1 meter. That's very important point. That's called post. Timber post can be, or some of the posts, timber posts are better. So we can every time use these after work starts. And we can use either theodolite or threading to see both orthogonally related located coordinates in terms of ABCD grids or in terms of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 like that. Post of marking coordinates shall be fixed around all directions for working grid references. Approval for such setting out must be obtained before doing anything else. Excavation for foundations will be carried out as bulk to formation levels, provided we know there exists nothing according to what information we get from record drawings, as built drawings. We cannot do excavation if we are doubtful. We have to find services ourselves. If there is no government, we have to find services ourselves. Let's make sure that we are working professionally. The point is really interesting one. Now excavation for foundation shall be carried out. Mass excavation is better than excavation in each column because you can take machine directly down, for example, excavator down or shovel down, and truck also can enter foundation in that case. Excavation for foundation shall be carried out as both to formation level, since working out excavation for individual footings poses an untidy site and inconvenient work. So make a ramp, go in down if you have space, excavated material be placed onto truck or dumper and be taken out. Easy way. If there is some service, we have to be careful, you cannot take like that. Wherever you get location of service by site, data check or by something else, you'll find that there are graphics everywhere. Now what is say in this case? Excavation for foundations shall be carried out if there is no services. If there are services, we have to take care of services. We have to go to respective authority and ask them either to divert that service or they will instruct what to do if it's part of our contract. Depends. We have to hand excavate that area where service is seen and make sure that we don't damage it, and then seek direction from that department. Maybe this department does it itself or they instruct, and that depends upon what our contract says. Because this is official one, either removing services or redirecting them. We have to decide upon this. It's a little time consuming, so we have to take separate action necessary. So excavation for foundation shall be carried out as bulk from foundation level, since working out excavation for individual footings there poses problem, site remains untidy and inconvenient work, and if you are taking excavated metal can be removed from site immediately after excavator bucket fulls, either earth material which should be directly located to dumper truck, and dumper truck take it to stockpile area. Stockpile means sometimes we select some area that, of course with permission, that we'll keep our material here and check material and find good material in so many time, yes, and that material is maybe 150 times. Excavated material shall be removed from site immediately after excavation. Excavator bucket pulls earth material which would be directly loaded to dumper truck, and dumper truck shall transfer that material to stockpile. Site to stockpile that has been allowed for screening good backfill material, and site to stockpile is a place we select for storing temporarily that excavated material, and if you think some use of that, and if it can be used, it's fine, otherwise it shall be taken permanently. Now if it can be used where to screen out that material, and that site to stockpile is the purpose. At one place all excavated material is collected. Then it can be, if you see, it can be used for backfill material, screening of one, or mixing with some other material, imported materials. In case no such approval or stockpile arrangement is available, excavated earth material shall be transported for dumping to authorized location for dumping. whatever authorized location is. Now, when loose material is encountered, it shall be removed to be replenished by soil movement, improvement, or mass concrete, depending on quantity of such material or direction indicated on the sign. Where loose material is encountered, it shall be removed to be replenished by soil improvement or mass concrete, depending on quantity of such material or direction. Of course, where loose material is encountered means we may find loose material also. We have to remove that one and replenish it by soil improvement or mass. We have to replenish all loose material because loose material cannot be allowed below foundation. Mass concrete depending on quantity of such material or direction, because it is formation level loose material, even if compacted may not work, so it's better to remove all that and refresh or use concrete in that portion, normal concrete blinding, and that would work better than something else. Or if you want, it's a bad soil, you want to remove a portion of this soil, say of 1/2 meter or 40 or 50 centimeter thickness, or you can then remove all bad material and replace with this two new vehicles. That's the site. Question is very important, thinking is very important. You cannot simply say earthwork is very important, excavation is very important. What we have studied doesn't mean excavation we know. Excavation is machine now, machine based. We are seeing people, they want to wait. They cannot get it. So, if you say, let us say, if we have compacted, we should not compact that actually. Say bearing test may be conducted to ensure that adequate bearing capacity, say bearing capacity is available at formation level. That's very important point. And if it's available, no problem. Compaction, final compaction, natural compaction shall be conducted to prepare formation surface to lay blinding layer. That compaction is fine because it's not really filled compaction, it's normal compaction of some loose soil has to remove and just compact it. It's uneven surface, not same level, and compaction can be done somewhere. It may be little down, somewhere little up. So compaction shall be conducted to prepare formation surface to lay blinding layer. And then surveyor shall set out lines, labels for blinding of foundation pads. That's a very important point. You have to understand that. And of course, we can say we can say Safe bearing test may be conducted to ensure that adequate bearing capacity is available at formation level, and if it's not available, you have to think of something else. If you are not getting safe bearing capacity, what's the reason behind that? Should you go further below, or you should backfill with some granular material? Means there are so many ways to think, and what your report says, soil investigation says a hard rock or soft rock, or it's soil, or what it is, it's sandy soil, it's clay soil, or lime, or peat, or whatever it is. It depends on that it's available. And if there's a question mark, we have to rethink on this. We have to increase safe bearing capacity by soil improvement. If it's required to apply soil improvement, and we have to remove maybe whatever desired depth of soil and replace it with concrete, or replace it with some material available. Because foundation is very important. Foundation, people think, oh, it's your building is a strong one, you just increase by 2 floors. It happens in terms of earning more and more. So don't worry about that. Timber form shall be now safe bearing capacity must be ascertained and done. If required, soil improvement should be done. There is no way to stop that or hide that. Or it's possible means possible. And if it's no way, you can say there's no way, means in that case you have to redesign foundation. Of course. It can be raft foundation, it can be command footing foundation, it can be some other foundation, a pile foundation. It depends on find solution of that. If you say your results do not help to do independent footings like that, or all this. Sometimes it's not easy, sometimes it is easy. Sometimes even we find more than required strength, or sometimes we find stronger soil than we expected. In that case, it can be raised also, rather than taking down, improving, you can raise foundation. That can also happen. Compaction shall be conducted to prepare formation surface to lay blinding layer. And then line shall be given by surveyor for footings, blinding of paved foundations. Of course, shuttering should be done according to requirement, formwork should be done, and whatever is given in drawing should be done accordingly. Then blinding concrete shall be placed in compliance. Means timber forms shall be positioned to lines and levels. And then finished surface of blinding concrete shall be made smooth in accordance with membrane application requirements. Blinding concrete shall be primed. Blinding concrete shall be primed, poly prime or whatever material, ready for receiving protection membrane application. This membrane shall be applied according to manufacturer's data sheet or manufacturer's procedures with reference to project specifications. Of course, specifications cannot be violated, and of course, manufacturer's data sheet also must be complied with. Both must be. There is no such instruction which goes against specifications anyway. However, membrane system shall be inspected and accepted by all representative from prior to allowing other further activities. Continuing on protection membrane. So we can say protection membrane shall be applied according to manufacturer's data sheet and instructions according to specification. The membrane system shall be inspected and accepted by either all or various representatives to allowing other further activities continue on protection membrane. Protection to protection membrane shall also be done. The protective concrete screed on a specific mixed design shall be laid on top of protection membrane in horizontal position, while in vertical position it shall be protected by flex bolts of the board. So protection screed shall be water cured for 24 hours. As for horizontal portion, setting out of respective footing, a strip beam shall be given by surveyor. Traditional form of plywood and timber shall be erected for bed foundations. Timber braces shall be used for supporting foundation sides, shutters. Design calculation shall be provided for each system. Design calculation must be required for maybe this heavy foundation. You have to make sure that whatever you are doing is helps seismic action. Meanwhile, you can say, just a minute, this protection screed shall be waterproof for 24 hours, setting out respective footings and strip beam shall be given by surveyor. Traditional formwork applied wooden timber shall be erected for path foundation. Timber braces shall be used for supporting foundation sides. Shutters. Timber braces shall be used for supporting foundation sides and shutters. Design calculation, if required, must be done, must be submitted. And reinforcement already made cage, we call it reinforcement cage, and we placed foundations where their spaces are marked and including cover. You can say then non-critical cathodic protection. Hold on. Cage shall be lifted into position using a crane and placed within setting of foundations. Starter bars and struts columns shall be placed within footings and within periphery of column and stub column to allow superstructural column overlap lengths. Non-critical cathodic protection shall be applied in case it is provided for such foundations. Reinforcement shall be checked by an electrician for continuity, confirming continuity relating to cathodic protection requirement, and preparatory formwork and reinforcement work configuration shall be inspected and approved. Column shutter bars shall be wrapped with polythene while footing cover concrete is placed to avoid splash contamination. Structural concrete shall be placed and compacted according to requirement. So we can say preparatory formwork or reinforcement work configuration shall be inspected. Column starter bar shall be wrapped in polythene while footing concrete is placed. While splash contamination, structural concrete shall be placed and compacted according to specifications. Structural concrete shall be placed and compacted according to specifications requirements. Initial water curing of concrete shall be conducted. Formwork for column kicker shall be erected according to column center line provided by surveyor, and that is stub column. You can see surface preparation of foundations at kicker portion shall be scabbled. Concrete shall be placed and vibrated to kicker. Curing shall be conducted in conformance to approved curing method statements. Concrete protection to inner side of beams and columns shall be applied covering portions. Within grade slabs area, concrete protection to inner side of beams and columns shall be applied covering portions within grade slab areas where preparations for laying concrete has to be finalized. Now let's go a little further. Let me see, just a minute please. Let me just put my battery off on so that it charges more. And go for opening of Let's do it now this way. Surface preparation foundation and kicker position shall be scaffolded, concrete shall be placed in vibrate of the kicker, curing shall be conducted in a conformance to approved curing method statements, concrete protection to inner side of beams columns shall be applied, covering portions within grade slab area where preparations for laying concrete has to work. Concrete protection to inner sides of beams and columns shall be applied, covering portions within grade slab areas where preparation for laying concrete has to work. Backfilling shall start in this portion in line to approved method statements with usual test samples collected for FDD, that's field dry density, and other standard requirements. After completion of all backfill layers, setting out for underground services shall be carried out. After completion of all backfill layers below ground, setting out for underground services shall be carried out, and this may be water supply services, or this may be sanitary services, this may be some underground electrical services, or whatever else is required to be done or concealed underground shall be done before after backfilling is over, and we have to excavate for that services and do again backfill in that portion where excavation is done. And all these pipes requires put in like sewage pipe, kitchen pipe, whatever it is, traps, and these must be tested for first fix. Now completion of all backfill layers, setting out for underground services shall be carried out. Underground services outlet shall be laid and tested as first fix. After all such services are complete, backfill to portion of all pipes shall be carried out in line to approved method statements. There is concrete encasing required on the services, piping. There is a requirement of concrete casing that shall also be done, and this all to be done. Now there can be many more requirements in this flooring can be done. A grade slab work to be carried out after all such services works are completed. Now see, once these works of grade is over, we have to start super columns or superstructure columns for scaffolding shall be erected for fixing steel rebars, and of course column steel rebars shall be installed according to IFC drawings, and at some place preparation of shutterings for columns must be going on. So column steel reinforcement shall be installed according to IFC drawings, and scaffolding shall be provided to fix working platforms around columns for fixing, placing column steel reinforcement, installing it according to design. Then a proprietary column formwork system shall be erected to vendors or to your own design. Adequate bracing of column forms shall be provided. Let me show you if you can see something in this case from here. For example, let me see if it is, I can show you column form. Yes, it is a column form. Yes, it is a column form. This is also column form, I think. Yeah, I have to show like this. Let us see if we can show this way. Just showing this form. You can see this form here. 0.6 into it's not, no, formwork is not that one. Well, just to show it's not point to column there nowhere. For formwork I'm showing this 12 die bolt. This is a bolt here. 12 die bolt, screw, washer, clamp, boot clamp, and then this top support. Here's the bottom support. This is just fixing. You can see in section here. In elevation you will find this fixing points here. 75 or 20 7550 L form lumber steel clamp. You can see these forms 50 spacing here, and these are forms you can say like this. And also I can show you one more if possible. Let's see. Yes, there's another one here, 0.4 by 0.4 column. You can see here. You can see this plan here. Same type. You can see this is what. You can see that way here. I can say yes, it's okay, fine. So this is not correct. I am doing this. And I can show you also others. That's another one. This is that one, I can say. And we can see this 49. So all are of course same. I like to show you something very specific on this. Otherwise there's no meaning of that. Sketch 55 column forward. Lift form I show you again. Lift form, which is also an important one. Lift form, this is by mistake is like, but it's left, don't take it otherwise. So you can see very complicated one if you do manually. It has 4 sides, 1 door wide here, and these elevations of this is the thickness and details of this. This is a lift pit below floor level, below ground floor, and this is platform here. It's shown for the purpose. We have both here. You can see how it works. Quality formwork. This is a formwork. So we can say we are here safe in this case. So we can say a proprietary column formwork system shall be erected, or we have to design our own system that is shown to you. Adequate placing of column form shall be provided, which are shown to you. All formwork calculations shall be provided upon formwork drawing, or we can calculate ourselves, no problem. What's easy, it's a 50 by 50 column, for example, 0.5 by 0.5 and 0.5 by 0.5, and it comes you can say 4 meters height. So 0.25 into 4 meters height, 0.25 1/4 of 1 cubic meter. It is 1 cubic meter concrete you are putting in this column of 4 meters. 0.5 by half meter by half meter, 0.25 into 0.25 into 4 meters, 1 cubic meter concrete means 2.4 tons. 2.4 tons concrete we are filling in this space of 4 sides, means one side is 0.5, so there are 2 meters. 2 meters you can say. This 1 ton is taken by 2 meters into 4 meters. 2 meters to 8 square meter. For 4 meters into 8 square meter is taking so much load, 2 tons. So how much load is coming on one side, you can find 1/4 of that. Then you can just say what's the total pressure of that. That's WH or 2, WH square or 2. This total pressure is taken by this. So with that you can find resultant pressure at 1/3 height. and 1/3 height is 1.33, 1.35 meters. That force on one side acts horizontally it is, let us say horizontally it acts 1.35 tons. It's for, whole load is 2.4 1 cubic meter tons, so we can say 1/4 comes on one side, and you have to provide that resisting force onto that side. Of course it will be less than that because it sets in. That we can calculate that one. It's easy, it's not difficult. Sometimes concept should be clear. When I say 1 cubic meter, this 2.4 ton comes on whole vertical load. WH, is total volume of that. Total volume of that column is 2.1 cubic meter. This means 2.4 tons. This means 0.6 tons comes on one side, and it's not big. 0.6 tons. We are having many bolts, say every 1 meter of 0.5 meter bolts we have. So we have about 8 bolts in that 12 mm net dia, or even 16 mm in some cases. Even if you take 12 mm, it's 1.13, and so you can say 2 tons can be taken by one bolt. So I think safe is only positioning is that we have to support properly, because movement is what it means. Only impact forces can open our shutters. It's very common, means it's not that complicated for such small columns. So you can say all formwork calculations shall be provided upon formwork drawing, and that we can do very well. There's no problem in that. And you can say all formwork calculations shall be provided upon formwork drawings. Inspection of columns, forms and reinforcement configuration shall be conducted. Concrete placement permission obtained. In that case, you can say then columns concrete shall be pumped in line to approved procedure by following maximum drop height 1.5 to 2 meter, and pouring layers not exceeding 400 mm, which depends on size of nozzle you are using. It should not be more than nozzle depth in any way, because nozzle has to interlock previous layer also. So rather I've written 450, it should be less than that. It's 400 mm. You just lay 400 mm approximately and vibrate that. Don't hold on vibration. Don't forget, you may forget later on. So just another layer of 450 and vibrate, and so don't go more than 3 layers, and leave that for another half an hour. Let it till the time you come back, maybe, because you are going to pour by concrete pump many columns together. Columns shall be cured according to specifications, which are methods segregated, and protection membrane shall be provided as usual. There's some big deal. So what I say is that stage wise you have to go. You have to start excavation. When you take care of excavation, you have to take care of compaction. Back, you have to take care of your if any chemical treatment, chemical treatment is required. Then they start for layout, and you have to lay for, you can say, compact area, prepare it for purpose of foundations, and you have to make sure the bearing capacity is valid, real bearing capacity on site, factual bearing capacity. You have to make sure if it's given in design, or you have to prove that formation is fine. You have to do that. And once you have done that, then you have to preparation for preparing formation, not compaction of natural one because it's disturbed and excavated. Or if you think it's not safe bearing capacity you're guarding, then you have to improve soil and take more excavation out and fill in with good grade material, engineered its compaction. Then you can start, means of course bearing capacity is higher than think you can test bearing capacity required. Then you can say, okay, we are going to do formation mechanism, you are going to do treatment, and as well as you are going to do lay blinding concrete on that. And once blinding concrete is laid, then of course waterproofing, soil protection, concrete protection of soil membrane, that's called waterproofing membrane, has to be laid on horizontal portion, which must be, you can say, which must be protected. If it's not dense layer, it's not self-protecting layer, they have to pay some mortar layer on that. And a self-protect layer, dense layer, which doesn't need anything. And if it needs, vertically you provide some boards for protection from backfill, and horizontally it should be like that, mortar. And once it's done, we have to go for killer all areas, beam areas or column areas, all areas. You take out all the big size particle more than 75 mm. If it's you take out all rubbish here to take out, it must be completely tidy. And you have to make sure that no inserts are left undone. It should be done the blockouts if instruments are required. If some connections of water line or sewer line, that must also be done after backfill is done, and then re-backfill that when concrete casing is done. And this way you can say you can move like that. So once backfill the area is clear, you can backfill, and in 115 that thing, that compacted layer you have to do after a while. Graded material or imported material or prepared material or design mix, whatever you have, or combination of material got from excavation as well as imported fill, or by adding dune sand to some mix, or whatever way you have done it, means it should be done accordingly to make that material suitable for backfill purpose, least silt and concrete content, and graded material must be there. So interlocking is affected by watering, and chances of consolidations are left remote. Compaction itself helps that metal stay stable. That's the purpose of this, and backfill is very important activity. Don't take it too lightly. People think it's too light. No, it's not too light. It's very important backfill for whole duration of building life until there's some difference, there's some attack from below by flow of soil and soil water combination. It may harm foundations, backfill, but in general case events, no water table high or nothing, then ordinary methods I explained to you should be done. And then graded slab preparation, once backfill is over, graded slab preparation will be done, which is of course a kind of structural arrangement, though all services are concealed below, and this layer is done independent of structural flooring. Graded slab is a floating slab until there is basement. If there's a basement or cellar slab, then graded slab is a structural slab. But when there's no basement, it's floating slab. There must be joints around all beams, and there's a slab. And services may go through this, and these joints must be filled with some compressed filler like flaxel, and then sealed above, so that when there's expansion, there's motion, it should not strike your beams. This slab. And when graded slab is done, there's a way that we can go up for superstructure or structure above ground, you can say. You have to erect column shutters, column steel, you have to erect for the partially cleaned, and there's enough adequacy, find ways to go up. Once graded slab is over, your column starts. Column means must be clear whether there's some provisions of conduits, electric conduits, no provisions. It's all clear, then you can complete all columns, and then goes to beams. Once the data slab is over, you can start columns, upper columns by fixing steel, placing steel, and for that you have to prepare scaffolding platform to go to that level, or using some other method. And also platform must be ready for some formworks, and formwork must be ready in your workshop of carpentry shop. These plates must be ready, so you can directly shift these plates to site and start column formwork and still and call electricians if some electric pipes are to insert it. And once this formwork is done, you can say so you can start columns very well. You can put, if there's some provision of electric conduits or switch panels, you can provide in that. Your steel should be inspected first before closing by formwork. And if there's a kicker you used before, you have to make construction joint itself, very fine construction joints. Very well. Let's see. What do you say? In fact, when we say we start columns, we start facilities in that, we start services, and we, after inspection of those services, we place covers and everything on that, protect every day until shutters are 10. And when we fabricate shutters, to say all columns, we lay out lines and grids and both ways, x, y axis, A and B, 1 2 3, all that. And we then put shutters after inspection of steel is done, inspection electric conduits are done. All inspection, if there's any box, switch panel or whatever else is coming in, to be embedded in sensors are done. On both sides, you have to put, we have to prepare for preparation of formwork and installing it, and then inspection like 1 meter off from grid, both sides. We have to do that application, and once everything is done, everything is done and it's cleared for pouring. Platform is prepared. Temporary platform for accessing up by stepped arrangement and platform. Throughout columns here we are pouring in for vibrators as people to shake all times. For it should be structural performance where loads are coming in. We have to see it's not collapse. The work, and that's important. So all columns are poured, all done, and that way we can say it's columns and of course fascia. If there's any fascia work is done. And simultaneously, when major columns are over, we must have some work going on. Scaffolding of slab must be doing on either in suppliers or we do our own system, lock system, whatever system, sexual comp system. I have to start that shutters, and means this is usual way we do shutters of formwork for slab, which also concludes some elevation framework. And as was saying, tell that it's difficult, it's not easy to continue like that. And after doing columns, we have to start from, of course, column pouring is very important. Pouring of column in layers is a must, don't otherwise. And then curing of columns was, if there you can't remove, these forms, then you must keep temperature low by curing. By applying water outside, because you can't use curing compound. You can put curing compound on the top mouth of column everywhere. And once you think that 48 hours later, you have to remove the shutters. Don't be in hurry. If there's need of shutters because it's chemical action temperature, you don't even know what is doing. And then columns are poured in accordingly in stages, and you have to cure them. You have to take out shutters, check for concrete, how concrete is, it's repairable or it's good, it's honeycombed or not, it's void or not. All you have to take care using chemicals after having discussion with responsible government engineer or some other engineer, and apply for that repair. Then you can start your projections of slabs. You can say all your slab work, you have to provide couple of system, you have to make a drawing of that, and according to that drawing you do staircase, all lift portion. You have to cast lift, instead of cast lift as I showed you, have to lift work separately, and then stair work and all those. It takes time to do all that. That's the important point, but it's important one, it is that one. That's what I can say. So you can go to that way, it's very important one. You can't leave it behind. And of course, slab was time consuming. You need stepped access to that. You need preparation of ladders. Preparation of steps according to drawing of, you can say, bottom profile of stairs. And you can just take all drawings. You prepare drawing first, how to fix this couple lock system, and accordingly fix that one. It's artistic, not but engineering work. It's like you have to do temporary engineering for preparatory works, and that's very important to fit in everywhere. Some different varying heights. We have to work about that and do about that. It's an important. Slab is ready. All services must be ready. Reinforcement must be ready. Reinforcement should be transported to slab, and work of reinforcement is done. It's placed, a very time-consuming one, but don't allow to be rusted. You have to protect every morning till morning. From evening, you have to place cloth-thin cover on this facility, and there is a couple of days to do slab work. And once that work is over, you can say our prime task is over, except to find something to speak. Now your slab work is ready, you must have complete scaffolding outside also, so people can stand that and work safely, and the net shielding requirements required. It's very hot. The people are there, safety means are there. If required, lifeline is there, life activities are there, everything is there. And student is not making any rest. So slab work is not easy, it is time consuming, and if you have taken manufacturer's material, then you must have asked for manufacturer's designs, and that manufacturer will give you, proprietary manufacturer will give you calculations as well as what loads coming on that, what deflection coming on that, and of course my area is also there, it applies that. So it's not, you can say, too cumbersome, and once it is done, we have to think of that, how to do it. We have to do it according to trying specification, trying arrangements, and once everything is done, we have to call that designer or the representative to make sure that whatever we have done in scaffolding must be showed by. Once the slab work is done, everything is done, we can go ahead. We have to prepare all top positions, everything for pouring of that, because pouring is risky. It is not what we think we can do. It's going to be a risky job. There can be collapses, and this was avoided by ensuring structural safety of that formwork. It's technical work, it's very risky work as well, but when everything is safe, everything is done, ply, it's good, no, not twisted one, not broken one, all supporting system is good, and you are, on which you apply rests, those fixing arrangements are sound, and you can call that organizers, that scaffolding person who designed this, to inspect this. And once it is done, then you have to plan for pouring of slab. After all, service electrical etc. are over, inserts are over, and you have to keep safe all steel every day, protected from ingress of moisture. And before everything is done, this strength is achieved. Everything must be safe, and that's what we do. Everything must be safe, and must be safe. Safety is first criteria. So that's what we have done. We'll take this talk later on also. It's very important because it's not only one story talk. It's repeat, upsell, we'll take care of lift also in this talk. We'll take off stair also in this talk. I just partly completed that because of time. It's time here. Already we are going to complete 3 hours of this talk, which is 3 hours here, approximately 4 minutes more. So what I studied means building cannot take for granted, because it is this building. It may be Hode block slab, it would be something else, it would be precast slab, it could be cast in situ, it could be whatever. You have to differentiate among them. You have to think is the best one. The point we have to take into our consideration, and if you take that, means it's a professional understanding how to do that, how to strike that also. That's important. There's so many considerations in everywhere. You have to understand that it's not simply one line statement or one page statement or something. We have to take into our consideration every plus and minus point of what we do, what specifications to speak of, what to think of. Everything is important in itself, and we are not to worry about that, but to think of that, and that thinking is very important from this point of view. And once we do that, I think we are successful. We can say we are not timid, we are professional. We have to move professionally in every respect. That respect is, interesting one if I take it from this viewpoint. Well, I'm a different type of person as engineer, because I put in myself to some other position, and some other position should come to me virtually. We have to see the merits of all proposals or points. Engineering is that we have to think every way, You have to think that what I have to do in this case of cast in situ, or these are precast slabs, a hollow core slab, or these are hollow blocks, or this was something else, how would I have done it? What's the difference between two? Design viewpoint, practical viewpoint, work viewpoint, and form shattered. So what? How can you take care of that? So with safety, people are safe. Everything is safe. No accidents, no fatalities, zero accidents, which we just declare on sites. Are you zero or not zero? How to handle this? How to coordinate this? If we had coordinated this, we not face that, but the difficulty we are facing now. Coordination, I say, it's a communication, because this is what coordination, technical coordination we are doing. We have to coordinate with all services, we have to coordinate in sorts of services provided, and we have to see how to procure material of supporting system from proprietary suppliers. This we have to take into consideration all time. It's very important one. You cannot just condemn it. Condemning is no solution. The solution is doing. Condemning is very easy. You can say, okay, take care of this. You have to take care of every activity. It's important. If you don't take care of activity, you miss engineering, and engineering says don't miss anything. If you miss something, engineering will miss you. Means you can't say, oh, I missed it. Being a responsible person, you cannot say, you have no authority to say that you miss it. You have to see every point of schedule, every activity, and all that. We have to compare our statements, we have to compare our experience, everything which is best, which is not best. So that's the point here. Means we have a very risk-free quality system we have. But I stress in risk-free quality system here. In this quality we say we should have no risk, and must be should not have that. We should not have any risk. That's what quality says, and that's what they say. Means, as I said, quality system is important for everything, and we can say yes, it is. It is and it is. Means there can be nothing. You cannot say that it is not. It is, and we should respect that. We should respect that in every way, our style, every activity, and of course we'll take care of this forming of envelope of this structure anatomy. It goes from one floor to other floor and other. I'll take care of basement also, which I didn't take today. I just talk only, so I'll talk again, repeat basement as well as our floors and stairs and lift, elevators and other services, which are parcel of these buildings. I will take care of that. Continuing next talk after this. I'm not trying to go more than 3 hours a day because it's too lengthy, and I can't take that, but I'll try to do it next time. It depends on time available and your time available as well, because you have to go to and of course, so we can say that we have to be professional, we have to think of, we are not just to be layman. Layman doesn't work here, mind works here, thinking works here, reciprocation of understanding works here. What works here is this, and it should be done accordingly. Take into every point what we do, what we don't do. It's like that. So I think what I have written, that's part one. That's partly only. We can add to that, or we can talk to that about what to do. And it's just custom one. What you want to do. Really, we have to ensure that what concrete we're getting from RMC also is very important and qualitative should be. Otherwise, there's no meaning of it. Just we don't want layman mix, we want quality mix. They should provide us quality service because we are paying them. We pay them. It's not only free service. Batching plant should be calibrated well. Batching should be professional well. It should not be that they what this is just a machine. It's not simply a machine mixing plant. It's a concrete plant. It must be professionally worked upon. It should be worked upon like that. If you take into consideration all these points, if you don't take these points into consideration, we don't do justice to ourselves. It's a very important point. Justice to ourselves, justice to everybody. That's what we say, justice to everybody, justice to ourselves, and justice to all. That's required. We have to be very careful about this point. It's not lengthy, but I would say today's talk a little limited one, explanatory. I'll try to show you more as much as I can show. It's that engineering is engineering. You can save it. You have to understand this point very well, and if you understand this point very well,